A lot of people, New Year's, they make New Year's resolutions, and most of it is either centered around some sort of physical improvement, like losing some weight, exercising more, or financial improvement, trying to get your own financial affairs in order. Joining us now is a health and wellness expert, Judy Gaman, to talk about ways that we can actually stick to those New Year's health goals. Judy, welcome to the Helen Glover Show. Good morning.
Well, good morning. It's great to be back. I'm so glad we're talking about this because, 40% of Americans will set a New Year's resolution, but out of that 40%, 60% won't keep it. If you don't set goals that are measurable and attainable, it's not going to happen. So people say, I want to be a better person, or I want to lose weight, but they don't define what that is. So they should say, I want to lose 10 pounds by June 1st, or I want to lose half a pound a week. Something that they can measure and they can hold themselves accountable.
Yeah,
and
realistic.
Then they have to figure out how to do it.
Right. And here in the Northeast, we've got snowfall on the ground. So, a lot of people that may be outdoor runners or walkers, that now it throws a monkey wrench into the plan because a lot of the sidewalks aren't plowed and it's icy out. So, not the time of year unless you have a health club membership to, be able to stick to a lot of that workout routine.
Well, yeah, that's what most people think, but you know what I'm doing this year, because I end up sitting too much when I'm working on a new book, is I've decided for 2013 I would do 13 reps of 20 things in a day, every day. So I'll get up, I'll do 13 push-ups, or I'll do 13 sit-ups, and by the end of the day I will have done 20 things, maybe a couple times do the same thing. But that gets you moving, and you don't need a gym membership for that. You don't need to be able to go outside. It's a matter of getting moving and staying moving.
Yeah, it does. A lot of those workout videos, too, are great, and if you've got stairs in your house, I mean, my goodness, I go up and down my stairs a number of times every day, and yeah, I like
and they're free.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a great workout. I mean, it's certainly great for the glutes and the quads and the hamstrings, and even the Achilles tendon keeps that worked out. And that's, you do that, I like your idea of 13, sets of 13. That is a great idea to keep in mind.
Well, it's small. It's things that you can do. Anybody can do 13 of something. And it reminds you, this is my goal for the year. So there you go. It's something that can be obtainable, and you can measure it. And it'll keep you moving. But I want to tell all of your listeners, number one thing to do, even if your goals aren't for health, but get a physical exam and get a really good physical this year. Make this the year that you're going to take inventory of your own health, because you cannot get better, whether it's, at work, and it's with cognitive abilities, it's with relationships, or whether it's to lose weight, or maybe you're too thin, you want to gain weight. Until you, well, I'd love to have that problem, right?
I don't know a whole bunch of those people.
Until you actually take the time to figure out what your status is. What is your health status? And for example, you can exercise all day long, you can eat really well, but if your thyroid is messed up, it's a moot point. You're doing this, and there's nothing you can do outside of getting that regulated that's going to help you.
I always, at this time of year, and I combine it with a Lenten discipline once Ash Wednesday rolls around, but I give up white food, like white flour, white sugar, white rice, white potatoes, and every year I wish I could keep it going, but usually once Easter Sunday comes and goes, and I know Lent is over,
right?
I'm usually pretty good, because this was my background for almost 20 years, was health and fitness, and but just by giving up white food, within about a week or two, I can tell you I notice an immediate difference. So a more disciplined, intelligent person would keep this going for the rest of my life, but it's hard.
It's hard, and once you fall off the bandwagon, and whatever it was tasted so good.
Oh, I know.
But that is a really good thing to do. There are small things that we can do that will make a big impact, and giving up, like you said, white bread and white food is really good. Those refined sugars. Also, just get rid of the sodas. People say,
that's a great one.
I drink diet soda. Well, I'm going to drop a bombshell on their life, because multiple studies have shown us that diet drinks and diet, like aspartame, all those artificial sweeteners, cause us to gain weight.
Now, why is that? Because you're getting used to the sweetness and...
No, it actually has to do with a chemical reaction in the brain.
Really?
Yeah, and they hadn't suspected it, but then several years back they took people, and all they did was change from regular soda to diet soda, and they did nothing else, and they actually put on the pounds. So, in things that we don't think about have aspartame, like gum and mints, and a lot of people say, oh, I get a headache in the afternoon. Well, guess what? That breath mint you keep popping has aspartame in it, and it's giving you a lot of side effects.
Wow, that is very interesting. I always joked about, back when I worked on the Navy base and I worked with the overweight crowd, and I would always laugh about the fact that, they were always, my overweight people always had, cases of diet soda in their car, and I would always laugh and say, maybe that stuff's making you fat.
Well, you were right. You were actually right, spot on. And a lot of the original thought was people were gaining weight because they would, have the diet soda with their Big Mac because it makes them feel better. Well, I had the diet soda, but that really wasn't the case. I mean, even if they're eating right and doing everything else right, and they're having diet drinks or foods or candies and things with aspartame in them, they're actually going to gain weight, and it's a chemical reaction. So it's really important to understand some of these little things that you can change in your life that are going to change your health for the new year drastically.
And the ones we're talking about right here, again, it doesn't involve any kind of expensive diet program or any kind of gym membership. These are things that you can do for free on your own, and we always have to combine diet and exercise because for years I used to have people that would either think they could lose it all by running and they could eat the way they wanted, or all they had to do was cut back and they really didn't have to exercise. The sad truth is you have to combine and do a little bit of both. You have to watch your diet and add that exercise, and it makes a healthier life.
That's exactly right. You're spot on.
Have you seen that there was something in USA Today saying that people that are pleasantly plump may actually live longer? I'm thinking this might not have been the timing for that article.
That's not good timing. but I can tell you part of the reason behind that. And we say pleasantly plump. Now, we really should define that because it isn't such a bad thing to have maybe 1 or 2, maybe 5 extra pounds. Anything above that's bad. But if, say, you get ill, you have to have some kind of reserve. If you get very ill, say you get something like, we had the outbreaks of West Nile, or you end up with pneumonia, that is good to have a little bit of storage. But people use that as an excuse.
Right.
Well, I got to keep some storage in case I get sick, and they have 50-pound gut on them. That's not at all what's intended.
Are there any kind of places we can go though and find a chart because back in the day you had these charts. If you were 5'5" to 5'6", you should have on your medium frame 135 pounds. Are there any charts nowadays? I mean, because what is the ideal weight?
Well, there are charts, and the NIH, National Institute of Health, puts them out, and the CDC has them. You can find them all over the internet. But the problem is that they're kind of one size fits all. And sometimes somebody who's 5 foot that's over 100 pounds will show up obese on these charts, and that's not realistic. You have to look at the structure of the person. You have to look at a lot of different things. So best place to find out if you're overweight or not is right there at your physician's office.
Yeah.
Just say, what should I lose? And they'll tell you. But for waist size, men, keep it under 40 inches. Women, keep it under 36. Anything above that, you are putting yourselves at big risk for metabolic syndrome,
women
diabetes.
Keep it under 36. That's kind of a big waist.
It is a big waist.
Yeah. Okay. So
it is a big waist.
Okay.
But believe it or not, a lot of people have a waist that size.
Yeah.
But a lot of them also have diabetes.
Well, it's certainly the new year is always a good chance to get better with your health goals, eating right, working out. Just as Judy Gaman has been saying here, keep it in perspective, make those goals attainable goals, set the small ones, achieve that, set another one. Don't make it so ridiculously out of whack that you give up within the first couple of weeks. Because that's what the health clubs are hoping for, Judy.
That's right. They'll sell you keep reselling your membership.
Yep, sell you that yearly membership, and within the third week, because I'll see it at my club, within about the third week, they start dropping off. So,
yep.
All right, Judy Gaman, health and wellness expert here on the Helen Glover Show. Always good to talk to you, Judy. Thanks.
Always my pleasure.
Thanks so much.